live yet? Oh. Yes, I am. All right. Awesome. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody had a good Easter. And all right, so today I'll switch cameras here in a second, but we're going to make a pocket mirror. So I did this one the other day. Put a CA finish on this one. We're just going to use the wax and oil on this one today, but it's out of walnut. And hang on a sec. Let me grab a tape measure and figure out exactly how big these are. I know you can get these in different sizes. This one's it's just under 4 inches are the ones I have, but you can get them in a variety of different sizes. Here's one I did a while back out of maple. So you can put, hang on one sec. So here's a stack of them I've been working on. So you can put like a little bit of detail on them. That one has a little groove in it. Did some plain ones, different kinds of grooves around the outside to decorate them. You do like beads and things like that. But they're quick little projects. They take, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 minutes at the most. And you can, they make great gifts, or you can sell them at craft shows and things like that. So what I have here is a piece of walnut, and this one I did a few days ago came right out of the end of that. So you should be able to get 2 or 3 out of them out of a 1.5-inch, 2-inch piece. They're pretty thin. All right. Hi everybody. If this is your first time here, my wife Robin is on the phone with me. So if you have any questions, just throw them up in the chat and I will answer them if I can. The new trailer is going good. We're headed out tomorrow in the trailer and gonna film. I'll give you a sneak preview of what we're doing. So I just got this glued together. It's a hybrid. I want to call it a hybrid, but it's not really a hybrid. It's going to be a surprise for Friday. It's kind of a hybrid. I'll give you that clue right there. Anyway, we're going to turn a sphere out of that. I have the Robust American Beauty in the shop here, and I have the Robust Scout is the one in the mobile shop. So robust, yes. All right. So we have our mirror here. I'll switch cameras here in a second. Just gonna kind of hold it up there, see about where I need to go, and we'll start cleaning out the inside of it. What you want to do with these is clean out the inside of it so the mirror will hang on. I didn't glue that one in yet. So it recesses down inside of it, but what you do is you part it off and then turn this around and use the jaws and the chuck to finish off the outside of it. So all be done right on the lathe. So get all set up. Get the tailstock out of the way here. Don't hit my elbow on it. All right, let's switch cameras for you. There we go. How's that? Perfect. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rougher here and just recess down inside of there, and I'll do a couple of test fits to make sure the mirror's right. And I'm just gonna lathe running at 3,000 RPMs. Somebody had a question too on the last video of how I know what speed it is. So it doesn't have a digital readout on it, and to be honest with you, you don't need a digital readout. Every piece of wood you put on there shouldn't be determined by whatever speed. You know, you shouldn't just put this piece of wood on there and turn it at 3,000 RPMs. It completely depends on whether there's cracks in it or defects or stuff like that. So it's not something you can just come right over to the lathe and turn it on 2,000 or 3,000 or whatever. You have to, you know, assess the wood before you start getting the speed up there, or even before you turn the lathe on. So this has a dial on it. It's from 1 to 10. So somebody wanted to know how I knew where it was, why it was at 2,000. So at 10, it's 3,000. On the belt I have it on, there's 2 different belts. So there's a chart that it comes with, and you know, it tells you right on it. 10 at that belt speed is 3,000. You turn it down to 8.5 or 7.5 or 8, and that's 2,000, and you just do it that way. And the chart tells you all that. But I would use epoxy to hold the mirror in. The CA glue, I think after a while, for holding stuff like that together, it gets a little brittle. So I wouldn't use it to hold the mirror in. You put the CA finish on it, and that holds up really well. But for gluing things together, I think after a while it gets a little bit brittle. And it's not something I've experienced. I just heard other people talk about it, and that's why they don't glue little teeny pieces together with CA, is because it gets brittle after a while. I guess that's what they said. So I don't know. So I just use a little bit of 5-minute epoxy, just put a dab in there, and I haven't had any of them fall out yet. All right. This is the Easy Wood Rougher, the square one. So let's get going. Nope. Yeah, drop it down just a bit. And you really don't need to go in that far, but you need it to go in far enough to where the jaws can grab it. And they don't need a whole lot of pressure, but you need enough to where you can get past that little lip on them so that it holds on to them. So still have a little ways to go, but you could use calipers on this too. In fact, I'll just show you how to do that real quick. About so set up your mirror, figure out exactly where you're at on it, and calipers over here. If you use calipers like this, don't hit, only hit on one side, on the tool rest side. Don't touch it on both of them. So that's a little bit. And I need to put my glasses on before I go any further. I couldn't even see that. All right. So, and you can put a little bit of little line in there, and I would just go close to that, and then test it with the mirror. And what I like to do is, once you get it close, is undercut that just a little bit. Let's see where we're at. I still have a little bit. So because this is just going in there straight, actually this bit right here, it has a little bit of an arc to it. But even if you're using a straight bit, it's just going in straight, and it doesn't really have a lot to bite to. So I undercut it just a little bit with the detailer back in there, so that the jaws are dovetailed too. Let's see where we're at. Okay, pretty close. I'll just switch to this one, and then just come in at a bit of an angle there. That way they'll grab it. Just a hair more. Try and get it just as close as you can. This is the Easy Wood chuck with the quick release jaws. Alright. Really close. We're making a walnut pocket mirror. Is that what they're called, or compact mirrors? I can't remember what their official name is. Do they have an official name? All right, that is right there, and then I'm going to round that. Oop. Hey, it didn't break. That's good. All right, so I'm going to round that over a little bit, and then with just a little bit of sanding, that will pop right in. So, round this over, get rid of that little line there. Now, if you make them a little bit bigger, you can, put in a couple of beads or something. But for this, we're just going to go with just that right there. All right. Why are you having problems? I'm gonna go. It might not be sized right. So once I get this off of here, I'll explain that. Hang on. Are you having a problem with the pieces flying out of the chuck once you have them on there? I don't have much room there, so I'm going to go down a little bit deeper to make sure I can have some room to hold on to it. Hang on one second. There we go. Yeah, this one isn't going to have a folding cover. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. I didn't know. Hang on. Okay. We learned something. Okay. Let me get this part off, and I'll talk about it when I get this out of the chuck, and I can kind of show you. All right. We could make a couple of side mirrors, a couple big folding side mirrors. Okay. Hey Scott, how you doing, man? So with these, go ahead and run through a couple of the grits on that bead right there, because once you get it on the chuck, it's really hard to get all the way back in here and sand. So just run through a couple of the grits to make sure it's cleaned up. You don't have to get carried away. Depending on what finish you were putting on it too, you could actually just finish that little lip off there. Let me see if that works. Oh. All right, I don't want to pop it in, but that's going to be all right. That's going to be good. Okay, so part it off. Okay, all right. So let's slice this thing in half. Crank the speed back up. All right. It is a thick mirror. Hang on. We're going to fix that, Jamie. I thought it was further down there than I thought, too. Oop. All right. I keep dropping stuff. Yes. All right. So, there we go. It's not very thick. All right. Relief cut, because you don't have to with this parting tool right here. Can we see that? Hopefully you can see it. So the tip of the cutter there, right there on both sides, is thicker than this the little shaft that holds it. So you don't have to. You can just go straight in. It's an 1/8 of an inch cutter. So I'm not exactly sure how much wider it is, but it is just enough to where you don't have to do a relief cut with it. So, and that little cutter just pops in and out of there. All right. So, okay, dovetail in your jaws. So whether it's a tenon like this or a recess, you need to look at your jaws. I don't know if yours are dovetailed or not, but mine are dovetailed on the inside and they're dovetailed on the outside. So if you look at, what's the best way to see that? I can't see that far away. Anyway, mine is dovetailed, so it goes in at an angle, so it fits that dovetail on the inside. And I don't know how well you can, or it's probably too far away, but you can see, if you look right down there, you can see that it hits the jaws all the way around. What you don't want to do is make that tenon so big that it hits the bottom of the chuck. You want that tenon to be shorter than the jaws, so that it seats all on the inside and the top of the jaws seat on your piece, whether it's a bowl or this waste block. You want those jaws to hit flat on that. So I'm not sure what chuck you have. Some of them aren't dovetailed, but don't make this tenon this big and have it sticking out here like that, because you have no support on the front of it. You want that to sit nice and flat right up against there. Trying to think, does anybody have any other suggestions? I can't think of any more. And the other thing is one other thing. Don't make the further you open these jaws up, the less round it gets. So if you make your tenon that big, all it's doing is hitting on these points right here when you close it. It's not seating all the way around all the surfaces. So the closer you can get that tenon to, basically crank it all the way in here, if you can get it to where you just have 1/4 of an inch or so, that is the most true the jaws are going to be. So try and get it as close to that as you can. Don't make it too big. All right, open this up. And don't break it by opening them up too much. That's a thin piece of wood. All right, so let's clean up the face of this. All right. Make sure it's on there. We're back. Yes, whatever your jaw's on, they're probably all a little bit different. Make them fit your chuck. Yes. So hang on before I keep going. Yes, greenwood is different. It's not any different how you make the tenon. You still want it to be to seat in there the same way. You don't want them all flat, just like I said, but make it a little bit bigger than you would if it was dry wood. And the reason is because on green wood, as you're turning, those jaws are smashing those fibers down because they're soft. They're a lot softer than dry wood. So make it a little bit bigger so that you can turn a little bit, tighten it back down, turn a little bit, tighten it back down. Because it's going to smash the jaws. And if it's green wood and, you just put it in there and start turning, there's a good chance that it could pop out because it gets loose in there as you're going because there's so much moisture in it. They should, Sterling, I'm not sure what type of chuck it is. I generally tighten. Mine has two. I tighten both of them. I don't know. I don't know how critical that is. It might just be good practice to get into. But it should, when you tighten one side of it, should be tightening the whole thing. But I don't know, to be honest with you. And Sterling, I just got the stickers today in the mail. Thank you, sir. And Robin said thank you too. All right. Oh, I got a little spot right there. See how we're doing. Still got a little chunk. I think the saw cut into that a little bit. Hopefully it'll pop through. All right, one more pass. Famous last words. Okay. We're rolling with that. All right. Let's let me run let me just do one grit and then we'll put some oil on it. Did that clear up the question about the? Okay. Brad, I didn't get your text. Or at least I didn't see it. You know what? I never have, but I have had a couple people say you can because after it dries out though, but it is oil, so I wouldn't put it on and then put a polyurethane over the top of it right away. I think maybe after a while, if it dried out you probably could. Um, I've never done it just because I figured oil and water don't mix, or oil and wax don't mix. But I don't know. You might be able to. Um, oh, that's awesome, Maxine. Very cool. Um, Good beginner projects are things like um, pins. Spindle turning is really good. I'm trying to think. Beginner projects. Help me out here, guys. What tops? Um, what else? What else? Beginner projects. Why am I drawing a blank? Um, I'm completely drawing a blank, and I don't know. Bottle stoppers. There you go. Bottle stoppers are great. Um, Bottle stoppers, handles for like utensil handles. Hang on a sec. Um, um, I think that's the only one I have. Like, so you can buy kits like this. That one right there's cheese or a grater, like a slicer for carrots or cheese or something. Potatoes. You can get kits like this for ice cream scoops, coffee scoops, all sorts of things. So all you do is you turn that little piece right there, and you just drill a hole down into it. They have inserts that go in them. Tool handles are great. Little things like that make great gifts, and it'll teach you, all the basics about how the tool's cutting, how to shape it, how to, put detail and stuff on it. So little things like that work out great. Pins are really nice too. You know, they're pretty easy to make. You just drill the holes in it, put it on the mandrel, and it doesn't take much time. Like handles for utensils like that, it's like a 15-minute project. I'm trying to think of other stuff. Don't use pine. Oh, yeah. Um, a good yeah. Yeah. Use up scrap wood. Don't go buy, you know, walnut at the wood store to practice on. Actually, a lot of the home stores like carry poplar, and that you can get like inch and a half poplar dowels and things like that. It's a softwood, but it's actually pretty hard for a softwood. So it's nice to use something like that. Um, so I just use the Howard because it gets rid of all the dust and puts a nice satin finish on it. I wipe it off after every grit, so I just go through them all like this. Um, Things like pendants and little stuff like that are good projects. If you get into like longer stuff like spindle turning, like wands and things, it gets a little tricky. The longer you go, the longer the piece is, because you start to get some chatter in it. So I would start out with shorter stuff first until you kind of get the hang of it. With doing things like wands and things, you need to like support it with your hand underneath it while you're cutting it, or get a steady rest. Makes a bit of a mess, but it's all good. Just wax. Yeah, the Robust has stainless steel way, so you can wet sand right on it. It doesn't do anything to it. Won't rust it. But if you don't have a stainless steel ways, make sure you dry everything off if you're wet sanding, because it'll come out the next morning and it'll be rusted. But the wax here, it won't do anything to it, even if they're not stainless steel. So you don't have to worry about it. This stuff getting all over anything, it's not gonna hurt anything. Uh, uh, yeah, the box elder is beautiful. Charles sent me some a couple of months ago and turned a few pieces out of it. Actually, you can't see it, but I have a few more pieces right over there. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, it turns nice and has some great color. We'll put a little bit of Yorkshire grit on this. And then Hampshire sheen over the top of it. All right. Wipe it all off. Put that away. And this stuff here is a sanding paste. So it has grit in it. And I'm not sure. Does anybody out there know what this goes up to after it breaks down? So it's just a fine paste, but when you're working it in, you can feel the grit in it. You know, about where to stand and foot placement and stuff. I think I have something up there, but yeah, Maxine, that is a big part of it. It's being comfortable. Don't stand like this with your feet together. Being comfortable, and I mean, when you're moving back and forth, you want to just be able to move with your body. It's kind of a dance. You don't want to, you know, be like this, or it's just going to make you tired and uncomfortable turning. So when you stand at the lathe, stand there. And a lot of times too, if I'm working on something, I'll figure out where I'm going to be at the end. So I'll start over here, and so that I'm still there. I don't have to move my feet as I'm going around a bowl or something. Uh, this is what exactly is grit. So it's yeah. Well, I think it's pumice is what they put in it. What Glenn puts in it. I'm not sure what the grit is, but whatever it is, it breaks down. So as you work it in, when you're just putting it on by hand, you can feel it, and there's definitely grit. And as you keep working it like this, it just becomes smoother and smoother until it's all gone. And then I was doing I was doing a demo. I believe it was one of the demos in California, and one of the guys there uses this stuff all the time, and he gave me a great tip. So you just work it all in, throw your paper towel away, and just keep wiping on it until it doesn't come off on the paper towel anymore. And he goes, you get a better finish with it. So I started doing that instead of just stopping when it was still on the paper towel. Just go through a couple more pieces and it disappears. And then you can put your wax finish over the top of it. Next destination is we're going to Crown Point tomorrow. It is not too far away from here, and it's just beautiful scenery. So we're going to film from the top up there above the Columbia River. It's the Columbia River Gorge, and so we're going to film a little bit from around there. And then the next one, I don't know, we're going to go a little further out, but we're not sure yet. We do have a couple of things coming up, but they're not for a few months. We have going to do a demo show up in Seattle, and then we have one coming up in Texas, but it's in October. So once we get it all figured out, we'll start planning them out a little more and do meetups and things while we're out on the road. So just a couple pieces of paper towel, and it's all clean. It's all worked in or gone or whatever it does. And it's it goes up a lot higher than 600, so it's a nice finish already. And then you put a little bit of wax over the top of it. Goes up to 1,000. Jamie says 1,000. Jamie is the Yorkshire Grit guy. And this right here is Hampshire Sheen, and this is, what is this? We haven't had any problems in the mobile shop yet, which is a good thing. We still need to do a couple of things. I need to put a breaker box in, but we haven't had time. So, but we're gonna do this one here. That's not too far away, and then when we get home, we're actually pulling it into the backyard, and so I can do the breaker box. I need to put in some other things. I need to put in a table and some things like that. We're going to have folding tables on each side of the under the windows, so that when I'm working on the opposite side, I can fold up the table and put my tools up there. So with this, okay, we will probably be back there next summer. What we're going to do is get everything all worked out this summer, as far as editing and filming and doing it all on the road. And then next summer we're planning on doing a cross country extravaganza, and that's what we're calling it. All right. Then I'm going to crank the speed up here. It's right at about 1,500. The only thing is, if you're going to use the Yorkshire Grit too, is try and stay away from the chuck. Not that it's going to hurt it or do anything to it, but it's a sanding paste. And so what happens is, if you are sanding on something, especially something like maple, where it's a light colored wood, you hit that chuck a little bit, and it starts to sand away at it and leaves a little film. So stay away from that. No, it's the mobile shop is on this one. We put up our first one. I think it's almost been a month ago. Jamie, do you have the link for our first shop video? Yeah, we went down to Bandon, Oregon, right after we got the wrap put on it. We're Austin, Texas. Well, we're gonna we're gonna be in Dallas. Um, so Austin's further down, right? Yeah, Austin's further down past Waco, right? All right. Yes, constantly. Well, not ripped out of my hand, but I'm always losing pieces over there. Um, I don't 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 use, as far as sandpaper goes. Stay away from your chuck, but don't use cloth, a cotton towel on the lathe ever. It's hang on, let me back this up a little bit. I'll switch cameras back. Um, Hopefully that'll work. Um, Let me go back. Always use paper towels, because it will even if you don't get hurt. When I first started, I didn't know any better, and I was using cloth towels to buff something up, and they get stuck like in something like natural edge, and it just wraps around it. It'll break the piece, rip it out of your hand. So get caught on anything. So always use paper towels on the lathe. Don't use cloth anything. As far as sandpaper, I don't know. I probably had a couple of pieces, get stuck in the wood and rip it out of my hand. But they're just little things. It's little bits like that, so they can't get your hand caught up in it. Hang on one. Robin, can you go get it? It's in the spare room. Hang on. No, we're not going to be in SWAT this year. We're going to be at the Atlanta Woodworking Show in August. It's the same weekend. It's the AW FS, I believe. I can't remember what it's called. Up on the shelf. Robin's getting it. She can still hear me too. I pulled it out of the bag, Sterling, on Friday to fluff it up and see if it was how it was drying, and it was dry. So I finished it yesterday afternoon. So there it is. That is the piece we got off the beach and turned. And I think it's a fruit wood. I'm not sure. This is the one that the beaver had taken down and found abandoned. But there it is. And this piece, I am putting everybody's name in the hat that helped us kick this thing off for the GoFundMe that we did. Everybody's name's going in the hat. Somebody's going to win our first project from the mobile shop. So we're doing that I'll announce it on the video on Friday and who the winner is too. And then we're doing another giveaway. Scott Grove, I turned a platter and he took and hit it with about 1,000 bottle rockets and then textured it, put some of his mother and pearl in it. And I'm going to do a giveaway of that platter on Friday's show too. So, but that'll be the one where we return that resin sphere. But this one right here, it's our first project from the road, and I'm gonna give it away to somebody. But yeah, it came out really nice. It was kind of cool just going right down on the beach, grabbing a piece of wood, bringing it back to the trailer, and turning it. Like I said, I'm not sure what it is, but it's definitely just from the colors, I think it's a fruit wood, but it was. The scroll saws can't team up. You're picking on everybody else. All right. So anyway, we're going to give that away. And then we're going to give away that platter too. So, I think that's it. That resin thing, watch Friday's video because it's going to be cool, and I'll explain to you exactly what it is in the video too, because it's going to be cool. Kind of like it'll look a lot like the one we did with Heath Knuckles, the collab we did with the blue sphere. All right. So there it is. Now I got it stuck. Great. Okay, maybe I don't need to epoxy this one in. Huh. All right. Does anybody have any? Apparently, I don't need glue. The wood kind of relaxed and sucked back around it. Anyway, there's a pocket mirror. Does anybody have any last minute questions? Because I need to go pick up a new pump for my clothes washer that went out 2 days ago. Anyway, found one, and I got to go pick it up from the guy in Oregon City. I figured out what was wrong with it, and boom. It's the pump that drains the water. It was buzzing and really, really hot. Deanna, the mirrors for this project, I believe a lot of the turning, like Woodcraft, some of the other ones, I think they sell them now. I'm not sure what sizes. I found a stack of them. I got about 20 of them, and I found them at a yard sale. But I think a lot of places sell them now. If not, you probably just go right on Amazon. They probably have them there too. I have I don't know. I probably got 15 or so of them, or probably more than that. Yeah, I don't know. I found them at a yard sale, but here's this one too. So, and these I may have bought from somewhere, but I have a couple of those, a couple little ones. So, and these ones are smaller. They're just under 3-inch. So I'm sure they sell them. They probably consider a 3-inch and that one a 4-inch, but they're actually just under it. What time for the sphere video? Oh, it'll be up on Friday. We usually have the videos out about 9 o'clock on Friday, on this channel. Woodcraft has them. Or kitchen utensil kits. Woodcraft has a bunch of them. I think Chefware Kits still sells them. But you can find anything from ice cream scoops to I don't know, the barbecue pokers, and in fact, Craig at Chefware Kits, I bought had like a spatula for barbecuing set. Can't remember. It was just in the Woodcraft, and I know they had a whole section of them there. But they're online too. If you go look, they have just about everything. They had some cool ones I hadn't seen before too. Can't remember what they were, but yeah, just about anything you could think of, you can make a turning project out of it. But yeah, like beginner projects, bottle stoppers are great. Things like that. The utensil. And these mirrors, something like that is actually really easy project too. You're right up against the chuck, so there's not going to be much vibration. The only thing I might do is, if you're just starting out, maybe just use the parting tool to come into it just a little bit, and then saw it off by hand. Because when it's something that big, when you're first starting out, if you don't have a parting tool like that, you have to make a few relief cuts, and then you waste a lot of wood. So you might saw it off by hand. And these little pole saws are cheap, and they cut really fast. So I always have one right there at the lathe for doing just little stuff like that. Um, trying to think what else. I think that's about it. Hopefully, we're fingers crossed. It's not supposed to rain tomorrow, but there's supposed to be clouds, and we're hoping they're high clouds so we can get some cool footage of the gorge. Um, yeah, it's yeah, if you not never been up or Oregon or whatever, but it's amazing. There's the Columbia Gorge is just an amazing place, and where we're going, I think there's probably 20 significant waterfalls in this 15-20 mile stretch. Multnomah Falls is amazing, but there's hiking trails all over the place. It's just a neat place, and the scenery is amazing. So I wanted to share some of that with you. But yeah, and then we're going to turn this awesome sphere from the top of it. So hopefully it won't be raining and we'll be able to get it done. All right. If you don't have any more questions, I have a wash machine I have to fix. Yes, 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes. We woke up this morning. It was absolutely beautiful. There's a couple of clouds in the sky, and I think it was raining by noon. And now it's beautiful again. Springtime, right? No. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah? Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for stopping by. Should be on again next Monday. And if you have any more questions, just swing on by. I just that YouTube, that little bell right there. If you click on that, that will notify you when I post for a live show. So if you click on that, you get notified. If you like the live things, click on that, and you'll be in the loop. All right. And yeah, run over to Instagram and follow us over there at woodshop.tv, and because we're always posting pictures of out on the road and things like that over there too. All right. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.